Hey guys, my name's Jay Cole. I'm a resident of Green County. I'm an independent voter. I jumped on volunteer for this campaign about a year and a half ago when I met Antonio and his wife at a Democratic event put on by Green County. I'm really impressed with what he did. Speaking, his ability to grab on to people and really listen to the people and hear what they had to say and speak back to them honestly and truly, with no evidence of trying to cover anything up. You know, it's very clear in the way he speaks, and I really appreciate that. And like I said, as a non-party member, that meant a lot to me. So Antonio's going to speak for a little bit here, and then he's going to take your questions. And I know, like I said, that he'll be honest and to the point and tell you how he really feels and what he really believes. So with no further ado, Antonio Delgado.
Thank you, Jay. So, thank you for coming out. It's good to be in Cairo. This is the first town hall on my 11th county town hall tour. And I say that, well, first of all, it's great to be here on the first one. Because, you know, we're living in a time where too many of our leaders are very comfortable not showing up, not listening, not engaging, and not being straight with people they're here to serve. Serve is the operative word. Now, before I get started, I do want to give a shout out to the lovely Doreen Davis, Green County. Who I think we all can agree is a real public servant. Is someone who's on the ground, doing the work, fighting, no matter your party affiliation, but here to help and here to engage and make sure that we all can figure out how to solve problems and make our communities better and healthier, and make sure that our children are growing up, going to good schools, and have jobs for them as they get older. That's what this should be about. And I think part of why we are in the state that we are in right now, both nationally and right here at home, in the Hudson Valley, Catskills, is because we don't have the kind of leadership that is dedicated to these first principles, to the things that anchor us from the very beginning. Not even the policy, but our values. You know, things like integrity and decency and honesty and accountability and character. The kind of things that I was raised on as a young little boy in Schenectady, upstate New York. And remember that. That's where I'm from. It's where my parents still live. Retired now, but they worked for GE. And back then, GE and IBM employed a lot of folks. Good, hard-working folk, like my parents. And they put money away. And we moved from apartment to apartment. And they prioritized my education. And they talked about how that was going to be the gateway to opportunity, the great equalizer, how if I worked hard enough, stay out of trouble, and my mother would say, she said, go to church, you'd be okay. That's how I was raised, and I followed their lead. And we worked our way up into the middle class in upstate New York. And it was a meaningful experience for me. Understanding what hard work can do if you put your mind to it, and you are disciplined, and you're responsible, and you care for those around you, and you're respectful to your elders, and you listen. Just basic lessons in life that I'm teaching my little boys now who just started kindergarten, by the way, this week. Now, my wife, some of you may know, grew up an hour away from me in Woodstock. And her parents are small business owners. Now we're both 41, and we both came of age before the world got big, before globalization set in, before there was a race to the bottom, and corporations took their business beyond our borders and left workers behind. And what's happened over the last 40 some odd years has been trends that have gone in the wrong direction. We've stopped investing in working folk. We've stopped investing in community. We've stopped investing in the public good, in the institutions that promote it, like public schools, like labor, right? We are no longer reinforcing the things that enable communities to flourish, to rise, and to grow, and to excel. Instead, we've allowed money. And I shouldn't say we. I should say our political leaders over time have allowed money to dictate the political conversation. And so as more and more money has poured into our system, less and less of us have had a real genuine seat at the table. And as more and more money has been able to dictate the conversation, the things that we care about, good schools, safe roads to drive on, broadband access, quality cell service, healthy food, clean air, clean water, basics, have been left behind, neglected. Now, don't believe this is because there's not enough to go around. Plenty to go around. In fact, the numbers don't lie on this. The last 40 years, the economy's doubled in size. Productivity has increased. You know what stayed pat? Wages. Gone nowhere. Nowhere. Now you'll hear, but there's full employment. Okay, let's break that down a little bit. What's full employment look like? 2, 3, 4 jobs bundled up together to get by. That's not full employment. That's doing what you can to make a way for you and your family in the richest country on earth, in the richest country in the world's history. And then we get healthcare. Skyrocketing premiums, skyrocketing deductibles, the cost of prescription drugs through the roof. Why is that? Why is that? Why is it that in the midst of all that, we get a piece of legislation that attempts to take health care away from the most vulnerable amongst us for a tax break for a wealthy few? Coincidence that folks like John Faso felt very comfortable voting for that bill because they received thousands and thousands of dollars from the insurance industry? Coincidence? I don't think so. Deciding vote to advance a bill that would roll back guaranteed protections for pre-existing conditions. Deciding vote for a bill that would defund Planned Parenthood after promising that he would. Deciding vote to take thousands of folks in this district off of Medicaid who need it. For what? For what? Money. Right? Tax break. They call it that. They call it tax scam. 80% of the country right now is sharing 10% of the wealth. Top 10% capture more than 75% of all the income. 2/3 of folks are living paycheck to paycheck in this country. All that inequality. And what do we get? Greed. Greed. Let's take money from those who we know need it. Instead of giving them a real break, let's make it more difficult for them to get by. Let's put a cap on that SALT reduction so that we can pay for tax breaks for big corporations and the wealthy few. And did it in plain sight. Now, John Faso will sit up here and tell you, but I voted against it. Did you? Because after you voted against it, you turned around and voted for it to go to reconciliation. And you just voted in the budget resolution to make those tax cuts permanent. So did you vote for it, or were you given the pass the first time? Keep that in mind. There's a lot of double talk in our politics. People say one thing, do another. Tired of it. Really tired of it. And I think a lot of people are tired of it. And what's happened is it's put our democracy at risk. Because when people stop losing faith in the system, when they stop losing faith in our democracy, then our ideals are at risk. Notions of equality and fairness and opportunity for all are at risk. You know, no one wants to be cut in line or cheated. We all want a fair shake. And make no mistake, there is no one cutting in line. You know who's cutting in line? Greed is cutting in line. Right? It's not the folks that might look a little different than you or serve a different God. No. What's cutting in line is a mentality by a handful of folks who are dictating the fate of this country, that want to keep things as they are. They want to hold on to the status quo and create the perception of scarcity. The perception of scarcity. There's a lot of it to go around. And if we put people in Congress who come from the margins, who understand the value of opportunity, who understand the value of secure wages, who understand the value of a good public school education, I do. I wouldn't be here today without them. No? Being able to go off to Colgate and earn a Rhodes Scholarship, something my mother had no idea what it was when I was cutting coupons with her in Schenectady. Then the law school and the things that I was able to accomplish from humble beginnings. This is personal. I want my children, I want your children, I want our grandchildren to grow up and feel like they can do whatever they set their minds to. Now, no one's asking for a handout, but a hand up should be expected. Paths to opportunity, if you put your head down and work, should be afforded. But instead, we have a system that keeps pushing and pushing and pushing people into the cracks. It's cruel. And it's immoral. That's really what it is. And if we want to save our political system, we want to save who we are, we want to fight for the future right here at home, it starts with restoring our faith and our principles, and then our values, in family, in community, and being decent. And that's why both these town halls matter so much to me. We're going to disagree on things. You're not going to agree with I hope you do, but you're not going to agree with everything I say. That's okay. We can have these conversations that have real civil discourse. The way our forefathers, our founding fathers, intended it to be. So, here's what I want to fight for, so it's clear to you. I want us to no longer be the only developed country in the world without some form of universal health care. Travis. I want to make sure that Medicare can have negotiating power with the pharmaceutical industry. I want to make sure that we stop spending $4 billion annually propping up the fossil fuel industry and our future success. When we can take that same money and incentivize investment in renewable energy and not just protect our air and our water, but guess what? Create jobs. That's what all the jobs are. I want to repeal that tax bill that added. Whether you are, listen, $1.5 trillion to our deficit, for my conservative friends out there, fiscally responsible friends out there, what in the world is fiscally responsible about that? What is it? Add $1.5 trillion? And then within a matter of 24 hours, turn around and say, you know what? Oh man, we got to cut Medicare. We got to cut Social Security. Got to cut Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels? Really? For what? You just gave the money away to who? Who? Now, and federal wages. Want to freeze that? Now, our current congressman says, not long ago, The economy here in upstate New York is booming. His words. Booming. For who? Who's it booming for? Right? Not us. Not the folks working day in and day out. Now listen. Some folks, a good number of folks, got a little bump in the check. And that's good. But a little bump's not enough. Particularly when the corporations get damn near the whole pie and get to keep it permanently. While individuals get it for a little taste and then watch it recede into the background. Just to kind of give us a little something to hold on to. We want more than that. We deserve more than that. We're owed more than that. So repeal the tax bill. I want to take the money that we actually generate from a progressive, reformed tax system where those who pay their fair share, corporations pay their fair share, take that revenue and invest it. Invest it in our infrastructure, in our roads, in our rail, in our broadband, in our cell service, for the small, mid-tier farmer community across this district. We need to re-fortify regional distribution and processing plants. We need to make sure that they have access to markets both locally and in New York City where there's $6 billion of local or organically grown food, unmet demand right now that we can't tap into because we don't have the infrastructure right here at home. We can build that. And the reason why we're not building it is because of the profit motive from cell companies, telecommunications companies. They don't want to invest. Well, if they don't want to invest, the government should. Should. And you create jobs that way. You put money in people's pockets, good paying jobs. And you know what happens? They spend that money. And the economy grows not from the top down, but from the bottom up. Yes. That is a healthy economy. Public schools. At the front lines of our future, we had 2 debates at the presidential level. Not a single question was asked about the environment or education. 2 future-oriented issues, forward-looking issues. No questions. Why not? Because the folks who are dictating our conversation want to hold on to now at our future's expense. And now it's not working. For too many people, now is not working. So I say invest in universal pre-K. From day one, I say invest in child care so we can free up people to go out there and live and find good work and have the freedom to do so. Make sure that our young people are being prepared for a more competitive work environment. Not everybody goes to college. So what happens to vocational schools, trade schools, apprenticeship programs? Invest in these programs again. And for the young people that do go off to college, can we stop saddling them with an insane amount of debt in the face of little job prospects in this environment? Why is the federal interest rate at 7%? For what purpose? They're trying to better their lives. And we're making it more and more difficult. That's why I'm for loan forgiveness programs. That's why I'm for debt-free tuition. We've got to make sure that our young people are empowered. I've had too many conversations with young people who say, I feel paralyzed. I have this debt hanging over my head. I don't know what to do now. My next move. How do I plan for my future? How do I live life free? Now, we're the nation where we claim the home of the brave, land of the free. But too many folks right now don't feel free. They feel stuck. And it shouldn't be that way. And so here's what I say. You know, if we're the home of the land of the free, home of the brave, well, if we don't feel free, it's time to be brave. It's time to dig in. It's time to engage. to put aside this idea that all we are consumers. And remember that we are citizens. That we have a responsibility to ourselves, to this country, to our community, to our children, to their children's children. We have a responsibility to be American. To be who we say we are and who we want to be. And to fight for it. And I think we have an opportunity to have real change right here at home. And I'll stop now and we'll take questions, but I want to conclude with this. I grew up in the church, so I can just talk like that. So, this is the choice for you. And I'm going to make this, and to those of you right now who are still thinking through the choice, to myself and Mr. Fazio, I want to just tell you what the choice really is. So it's clear. It's the future versus the past. It's somebody who is committed to serving the people, and to bringing the people with him to DC, versus somebody who feels very comfortable serving special interests and leaving the people behind. Okay, this is somebody who is committed to thinking through a vision for what opportunities could look like here for decades to come, versus somebody who is determined to hold on to what limited opportunities we have for self-preservation and power. He's an operator. He's a classic politician in that sense. I'm not a politician. Now I'm running to be one. I'll give you that. But I'm here to serve. I'm here to engage on the ground level and make sure that we bring back true representation. True representation. That's what we need right now, to restore that sense of what's possible. To be here, to be American, to be citizens, to be in the